And welcome to our community. Susie Thomas here with Cindy Calusi from New Point Community Church. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
And first of all, New Point, love what you're doing in the community all the time.
Thank
and you
you.
are the communications person.
Yes, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about everything that New Point's been up to lately.
New Point is crazy busy right now. We have 5 campuses throughout Northeast Ohio currently, and each of those 5 campuses are growing and thriving and doing very, very well.
Let me stop you right there.
Sure.
5 campuses. First of all, why? What's the vision there?
Well, the vision is we want to reach Northeast Ohio for Christ. And sometimes in order to reach people you've never reached, you have to do things you've never done. And sometimes, it can be scary to add a campus, but with God's direction and with the leadership of New Point, we are just following that direction and opening campuses where we feel God is calling us. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we have to put a pause on a particular campus until we can find a location and continue moving and make sure that that's where God wants us. But we're just really committed to the people of Northeast Ohio and getting His word out.
Mm-hmm. How did that come about? Was someone driving up 77 and said, "Oh, it'd be nice to be here and here"?
No, that is the vision of our lead pastor, Dwight Mason, and that is just the calling that God has put on Dwight's heart, and he firmly believes it and is bought in, and we all firmly believe it and are bought in, or we wouldn't be working at New Point.
Can't imagine it's tricky enough managing a church. Mm-hmm. 5 different locations has got to have some of its own particular challenges. How does he do it?
It does. We have wonderful support, the leadership of New Point in general, and then we have strong campus pastors at each location, and we all work together. And it is just a God thing that we are growing and thriving, and we have great leadership.
For someone who has not experienced a worship service, you do have campus pastors. You each have your own worship teams.
Yes.
But the message itself will always come from lead pastor, Dwight Mason.
Correct.
That is done how?
That is done on video. We record the message on Thursday afternoons, and then it goes out to 4 of our campuses. Our Dover location, Dwight is pretty much live there all the time. Even though the Dover campus has their own pastor, Mark Honeycutt, Dwight speaks live there on Sunday mornings. The other campuses, yes, they have campus staff, they have a campus pastor, they have a live worship team. Everything on Sunday morning is live except the message. And we drop a screen down, and then that way we all get the same message across the board.
Okay, I don't know if this was done on purpose, but the way that screen comes down, his feet are exactly on the stage, and he is life-size, and it's like a hologram, and you forget that you're watching a video. Has anybody ever mentioned that?
Yeah, we've had quite a few people mention the fact that it's like, really? That was a recording? Like, yeah, that was a recording. We just have a phenomenal production team, and they are spot on, and they know what they're doing on Thursdays. And he has marks he has to stay on, and our production team just nails it.
Truly. And funny story, was in the middle of a service at one of the sites, and the video was playing. Somebody went out an exit they weren't supposed to, and an alarm went off. And he continued talking as if nothing were bothering him, and we're all sitting there going, wow, is he good? Because you forgot.
Oh, you forgot.
That was a video.
Right.
Yeah, it honestly seems like he's just right there. Does he ever maybe surprise anybody and show up live at one of the other sites?
Yeah, right now he actually is at our Canton campus. He was there this past Sunday, and I believe he'll be there this coming Sunday. So he does. He pops around from time to time and either will visit a campus on a Sunday or he will actually speak at a campus on a Sunday.
It's a wonderful church that you've got going there. And one of the reasons is because you really act like a church. You get out into the community. Talk about Community Impact Day a little bit.
Yeah, we have that. This was our 10th or 11th year of Community Impact Day, or it's lovingly referred to as CID. And we close the doors on a Sunday in July or August, and we go out into the community, all 5 campuses. We don't have church that Sunday, and we go out in the community and we perform acts of service that we have registered for beforehand. We have done painting. We've done at all 5 campuses, so we impact 5 counties.
Wow.
This past July 31st, we had 1,330 volunteers at about 134 job sites throughout 5 counties, and we put on wheelchair ramps. We painted. Our Coshocton campus just knocked it out of the ballpark, and they overhauled the Coshocton Career Center down there by power washing and planting and mulching. We do projects at libraries, at schools, at stadiums, and then at individual homes. So we empowered about 1,330 people that day. And everyone loves it. They can't wait for CID to come around every year.
So much fun. And what you accomplish is just incredible. Yeah. What's the vision for the future?
The vision for the future right now is, we call it 10 by 20, which is 10,000 people by the year 2020. And that is our goal. We're at about 4,500 people between the 5 campuses. And so, it's just, and it's not because we want to be this big church. It's just we want to reach people for Christ. And if you don't have a goal, then you don't have anything to reach for and to move forward to as one cohesive unit. And so that's our goal, has been for a few years, and we have 4 more years to go. But 10,000 people by 2020.
And you're well on your way. Now, how does a person actually pastor that many people? Because you're talking about a church. You're talking about a group of broken individuals who all need a Savior.
Right. It goes down to the empowering the local level, empowering the local campus pastors as those 5 campuses, making sure that they're equipped for whatever they need to handle it there in their community, and then the staff there. And so they all work as a cohesive unit. And I believe it's weekly or bi-weekly, the campus pastors come together at the Dover location, and they meet with Dwight, and they're taught, and they get leadership and vision casting, and then they go back into their communities.
And so even though if a person were a new mom, let's say, and needed meals provided or hospitalized, they still are able to provide that old-fashioned kind of care.
Exactly. Yeah, we have a wonderful care network at the campuses, and if anyone needs help or support like that, they just call the campus, any campus that they're at, and we are right there for them. Yeah. So,
and how do the members themselves get to know each other? Because it's pretty hard to get to know people in a big group.
Right.
But how do they get to become members of one family?
We have lots of opportunities at all the campuses, not just the worship service, but we highly encourage our church body to get into small groups.
What kinds of small groups do you offer?
We offer men's, women's, couples, singles, and then mixed, whether you're married or single or whatever stage of life you're at. And the groups are different via campus. So you would just contact one of the campuses, either on the website or give them a phone call, and they'll be able to plug you into a small group. So small groups, we have wonderful children's ministries. Serving is a wonderful way to get to know others and to take that kind of big church mentality down to a smaller level is if you serve. Join a small group and just get involved and make yourself known.
You do beautiful testimonials, and those video productions are just unbelievable.
For baptisms,
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
I'm not sure if all the campuses do video testimonies, but when we have a baptism, we try to capture the person's story on video, and we have them speak about their life before Christ and how Christ came to them and now their life after Christ. And we'll go out and we'll get B-roll of them interacting with family or at work or if they're a small group leader. And it's very emotional and impacting on people too, especially if you don't know the person that's being baptized. You're seeing their story for the first time, and you're understanding that either, how Christ came into their life, and somebody in the congregation could be sitting there going through the same thing, and they see that God can make a difference in their life. And so these baptism testimonies are just a wonderful way of reaching out and giving another layer to folks to see what goes on.
What happens to those afterwards, those videos? Because it would be so awesome for other people, not just those sitting in the congregation, to get to hear those stories.
Right. A lot of times they're shared on Facebook. All of our campuses have their own Facebook page. And then New Point Central has a Facebook page. Some of the stories get out onto the website. It's newpoint.org/stories, and some of the stories get out onto the website to share.
I will encourage everyone to, if you don't already follow or have liked the Pregnancy Choices Facebook page, there's going to be one of those testimonials very soon. Be watching for that. With permission, thank you. And so, yeah, they are just, it gives you an amazing example of what God does in people's lives, and they are giving all the glory to Him.
Right, right. And they're going very public. I mean, this is a very public profession of your faith. So,
how does a person get involved with music? Where do you find your musicians? Because your congregation is so spoiled. Well, they can watch American Idol or The Voice, and you go, okay, they're okay. But you should hear the people who sing at church. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where do you find them?
All 5 campuses have wonderful, very talented, highly talented worship leaders and band members. They're just normal volunteers. Sometimes the people in the band don't even attend New Point, but they're a friend of a friend, and then you kind of get them in the door, and they're doing the thing that they love, whether it's drumming or a vocalist or a guitarist. Then all of a sudden, they're on stage at church, and it's like, oh, okay, And so, so sometimes they're friends of friends that don't even know Christ. But they come to Christ because, they're all of a sudden playing in a band, doing something that they love. Now they're doing what they love for Jesus. So, and we also have auditions, and we have posters out at some of the campuses. And so I know the campuses are always looking for participants to be in the bands.
They might be a little intimidated. Folks might be intimidated to try out because, honestly, it is just top notch.
Thank you.
And yet, not performing. Can you talk about the difference there? It's not performing. It's not like they're leading worship as much as they are the lead worshipers.
Right. Well, and I am not a worship band participant at all. You will not find me on stage.
Well, I either.
Okay. So I can't speak on their behalf, but I love watching them perform because they're performing not for themselves or for the crowd, but you can just see God working through them.
They're worshiping.
I mean, I love seeing the one drummer at Dover, Phoebe. He just exudes Christ when he plays those drums. And, there are so many other people that are like that. And they're doing what they love, and they're doing it for God. And that's all that matters.
Talk about your own experience at New Point. What drew you to the church?
Goodness. I've been at New Point, which used to be Sugar Creek Free Methodist Church back in the day. I've been on staff 14 years, so we've been attending about 15 or 16 years. And my husband and I were just at a time in our life where we needed a little bit more. And so we started searching for a church, and we went to a couple different ones, and we ended up at Sugar Creek. And there was just something different about it, even back then. Very laid back and casual, but oh so friendly. And they just accepted you where you were at. You don't need to get yourself cleaned up before you come. And it was just a relaxing experience. And then we got to know people, and more people started coming out to Sugar Creek, and then, here we are 14 years later, I'm on staff. So,
and how exciting to get to be the communications director. You have to know everything.
I do. And it's daunting, to say the least, to try to keep 5 campuses straight.
How do you do it, Cindy?
We have a wonderful, we have a staff. I have a wonderful assistant director who's new to on staff, but he's just picked up like he's been there forever. And we have, whether you like it or not, we have to have systems and policies in place.
Yep.
I mean, we're 5 campuses. Whether you walk into the Worcester campus or you get an email from the Coshocton campus, it has to look like it came from New Point Church. And so we have policies and procedures, and we have a great support staff.
You get to be the person who says, and it's got to be branded this way.
Yeah. I'm not always the most popular or well-liked person, but
you have a friend in me. I understand.
My first responsibility is to New Point. My first responsibility is to God. My second responsibility is to New Point Church, and to always make sure there's a positive face out there for the community. So I'm not always the most popular with staff, but it's my job.
That's it. Cindy Calusi is the communications director at New Point Community Church. Got a really exciting event coming up we're going to find out about after these words. Stay with us. You're listening to Our Community.